Yo, what's good everyone? This is Ayo Boxing with Madiba, and here's my post-fight review for Filip Hrgovic versus Daniel Dubois. Out of all the fights on the 5 vs 5 card, this one surprised me the most. I expected Hrgovic to win, but I knew that Dubois would pose a threat and could cause him trouble. But I fully expected for Hrgovic to stop Dubois, and boy, I was wrong. I vastly overestimated Filip Hrgovic and underestimated Dubois for several reasons. The first is that True School Sports, a channel that I respect and regard as one of the best in the boxing community, was always high on Hrgovic, which caused me to do the same. Second reason is the pre-fight build-up. Hrgovic was super confident and borderline arrogant when it came to Dubois. This is due to the sparring that they did years ago, in which Hrgovic apparently beat up Dubois. So I felt Hrgovic had the mental edge over Dubois. The third reason is that I've seen Hrgovic fight way more than Dubois. I've never really watched Dubois live and mainly seen his highlights. My assessment of him was mostly based off what people said about him, like he was a quitter and whatnot, but I've seen Hrgovic live several times. The Zhang fight stuck out to me, in particular because of how he handled Zhang. It was a tough fight for him, but I thought he fought well against Zhang and beat him convincingly. I doubted that Dubois would give the same type of resistance that Zhang did to Hrgovic, but boy, I was wrong. Hrgovic got exposed by Dubois. Hrgovic is a limited fighter. Don't get me wrong, Hrgovic has a good skill set. He's a former Olympian, he can box, has a good jab and a right hand, and good power. And he was doing very well against Dubois in the beginning of the fight. He was consistently landing big right hands, mainly off of the 1-2 or 1-1-2. And it looked like he would eventually crack Dubois with one of those punches, because Dubois kept his head on the line, making an easy target for the right hand to land. But that was the only game plan that Hrgovic had for real. Once Dubois showed that he could handle the right hand and wasn't going anywhere, Hrgovic began to unravel. Hrgovic blew his load in the early rounds, going for the knockout, while Dubois weathered the storm. And with each passing round, Hrgovic was fading while Dubois increased his aggression, coming in with a powerful double jab right hand and mauling Hrgovic on the inside. By round 7, Hrgovic was gassed and was taking big shots from a strong, fresh Dubois. Hrgovic was basically out on his feet, and the fight would eventually end on doctor stoppage in the 8th round. I saw several complaints regarding Dubois' headbutting, which is understandable, but the reason why Hrgovic lost was due to his limited skill set. His lack of defense and head movement made him an easy target to be hit. His lack of adjustments allowed Dubois to gain momentum and take over the fight, and his lack of stamina cost him the fight. But most importantly, Hrgovic's resume showed that he wasn't ready for Dubois. At the age of 26, Daniel Dubois has fought Joe Joyce, Alexander Usyk, and Jarrell Miller. And despite losing to 2 of those names and having people question his mentality and his heart, those were invaluable experiences fighting at the top level. The same cannot be said for Hrgovic, and this is something that I completely overlooked. So shout out to Dubois for proving me wrong and everyone else wrong. It appears that Dubois will fight AJ next in the fall, and that should be a good ass fight. Hrgovic on the other hand will have to go back to the drawing board and fight contenders to get back to that position that he was. A good fight on the rebound would be Frank Sanchez, since Frank Sanchez also lost his last fight. But who knows, this is boxing, anything can happen. But thank you for tuning in with Ayo Boxing with Madiba. Hit like and subscribe, and more content's coming your way.